Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sisoko. I'm going to be the instructor for Econ 101 Principles of Microeconomics. Today, we are going to talk about Chapter 1 10 Principles of Economics. Let's begin with the definition of economy. Economy is one who manages a household. For instance, a household is someone who can cook, drive, or go to work. Household faces many decisions. They have to allocate scarce resources. Resources are also called factor of production. There are four types of factor of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Society faces many decisions. They have to allocate resources and output. So there are two types of output, good and services. Society must decide, for instance, to use land for farming or land to build residential, building or commercial building. Now let's define scarcity. Scarcity is the limited nature of society resources. We don't have enough resources in society. One example of scarcity is time and money. Time is limited. We have only 24 hours a day to do whatever we want to do, such as sleep, work, eat, watch TV, for instance. One consequence of scarcity is, therefore, society cannot produce all the goods and services that people wish to have. Now, let's define economy. Economics can be defined as society manage its scarce resources. Economy can also be defined as people make decisions. So what do you do as an economist? Economists study how people make decisions. For instance, people go to work, or they earn income, they can use that income to buy goods and services, or they can save that income. They can also invest the income by opening saving account or buy bond or stock to earn interest. Economists also analyze forces and trends that affect the economy as a whole. So, for instance, growth or increase in average income is called economic growth. How do you compute the average income? You take the total income, you divide by the population, or you take the total value of output, you divide by the population to get average income. Another example of study by economists would be people who cannot find job is called unemployment. For instance, rate at which prices are rising is called inflation. The 10 principles of economics can be divided into three categories. The first one is how people make decisions. This, the second one is how people interact. The third one is how the economy as a whole works. Okay, the first category will consist of four principles. The second category will consist of three principles, and the third category will consist of three principles. In this uh, in this video, we're going to talk about only about the first category, which is how people make decisions. In the next video, we'll talk about how people interact. In the last video for chapter 1, we'll talk about how the economy as a whole works. How people make decisions consists of four principles. The first principle is people face trade-off. What is trade-off? Let's look at a famous quote from the great economist, the late great economist Milton Friedman from the University of Chicago. He said during his 1976, Nobel Prize acceptance speech that there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. What does Friedman mean by this famous quote? It means that to get something in an economy, you have to pay for it. If you don't pay for it, someone else has to pay for it. There is no free lunch. So this means to get something, you must give up something else. The process of making decision consists of trading of one goal against another. Let's now give some example of a trade-off. The concept of trade-off can be applied to students when allocating the most valuable resource, which is time. Students can allocate their time to study for this class, economics, versus studying for other classes, or sleeping, eating, or go to work, for instance. Parents can also, use the family income to buy food, clothing, or take a vacation, or pay the college tuition for the kid, for instance. The concept of trade-off can also be applied to society, such as national defense versus consumer good. For instance, society can decide to produce its civilian good, barrel, or personal computer versus military good, gun or tank, for instance. The concept of trade-off can also be applied to efficiency versus, equity. So, what is efficiency? Efficiency can be defined as society getting the maximum benefit from its scarce resources. So, this means that society has to be able to produce it with the maximum output or the maximum value of goods and services from its scarce resources. So, size of the economy pie will increase. The total value the of output will increase, and therefore, so income will increase. On the other hand, equality deal with distributing economic prosperity uniformly among the member of the society. So the equality deal with how the pie is divided into individual slice. The problem here with equality is which criteria should be used to, uniformly, divided this, the pie among the member of the society. Let's talk about one example of a trade-off between efficiency and equality. For instance, tax dollars paid by wealthy Americans then distributed to those less fortunate may improve equality on one hand. On the other hand, lower hard work and therefore reduce the level of output produced by our resources. This means that increase in equality may come at the expense of reducing efficiency. Principle number two deal with the cost of something is what you give up to get it. So people face trade-off. How do you measure trade-off? Trade-off can be measured by comparing costs with benefits of alternative. For instance, the benefit of attending this lecture is that you can get better grade, higher grade, you can earn A in the class. But the cost is you must give up sleep time, you must give up, hanging with your friend or watching TV, for instance. So the trade-off can be measured by the opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is what must be given up to obtain something. For instance, what is the opportunity cost to attend college? The opportunity cost to attend college is the tuition that you have to pay, the fees that you have to pay, and so the sacrifices that you have to go through, missing your parents, missing your friend, attending classes, and then also the foregone income. What is foregone income? Foregone income is after high school, you could get a full-time job and earn money. You have to give out that money in order to go to college. Or what is the benefit of attending college? The benefit of attending college is, so more money you could make with the higher degree and have a better life. Principle number three deal with rational people think at the margin. So rational people systematically and purposely do the best they can to achieve their objective. So what do you mean by thinking at the margin? So marginal changing is measured by small increment adjustment to a plan of action. For instance, consumer want to purchase the goods and services that allow them the greatest level of satisfaction given their income and the price they face. Another example, for instance, is firm manager want to produce the level of output that maximize the profit the firm uh, earn. So another example of you know rational decision is about water and diamond. Why is water so cheap and diamond are very expensive? The marginal benefit of a goal depend on how many units a person already has. Because while there is plenty, the marginal benefit of an additional cap is small. Because diamonds are rare, the marginal benefit of an extra diamond is high. A rational decision maker take an action if and only if the marginal benefit is at least as large as the marginal cost. The last principle of how people make decisions deal with people responding to incentive. What is incentive? So incentive is something that induces a person to act. For instance, in a market with higher prices, buyer want to consume less because they don't want to spend all the money. Seller want to produce it more because they want to make more money, they want to make more profit. Now, another example of incentive also is, attendance, extra credit or participation in extra credit. For instance, students receive extra credit for attending the lecture, so they also receive participation extra credit for doing the homework, for instance in this class for completing the chapter summary, for instance. This is the end of the first video about how people make a decision. Next time we'll talk about so how people interact in the market. Thank you.